Good afternoon.
The Secretary-General warned that unsustainable debts are concentrated in poor countries, leaving virtually no fiscal space for essential investments in the Sustainable Development Goals or the transition to renewable energy.
Levels of public debt are staggering and surging. In 2022, global public debt reached a record $92 trillion, and developing countries shoulder a disproportionate amount. A growing share is held by private creditors who charge sky-high interest rates to many developing countries. On average, African countries pay 4 times more for borrowing than the United States and 8 times more than the wealthiest European countries. The International Monetary Fund says 36 countries are on so-called debt row, either in or at high risk of debt distress. Another 16 are paying unsustainable interest rates to private creditors.
The report points to the UN roadmap of multilateral actions to address the global debt burden, including tackling the high cost of debt and rising risks to debt distress, massively scaling up affordable long-term financing for development, and expanding contingency financing to countries in need. With the UN chief arguing that the debt financing inequalities are built into an outdated financial system which reflects the colonial power dynamics of an era when it was first created.
Deep reforms to the global financial system will not happen overnight, but there are many steps we can take right now. Our proposals include an effective debt workout mechanism that supports payment suspensions, longer lending terms and lower rates, including for vulnerable middle-income countries. And governments can agree right now to scale up development and climate finance by increasing the capital base and changing the business model of multilateral development banks.
UN leadership calling on the upcoming G20 summit to take the various important initiatives on debt financing and restructuring forward.
The developed world has debt ratios that are higher than the developing world. But the developing world pays much more for their debt than the developed world. And the increase in the interest rates that has happened during this year has been an incredible burden for the developing world, because when they have to refinance in the market their debt, they have to go to refinance at much higher interest rates. The credit agencies play a very important role because they, if you look at the macroeconomics many times, at the debt burden, at the fundamentals, the indicators in economics, you don't understand why some of the developing countries are punished in the way they are punished in the credit rating agencies.
Calling for a more equitable system that places the most vulnerable at the center of the global financial framework.
The report is an alarm bell for the international community, warning that an increasing number of countries find themselves trapped in a situation where both their development and their ability to manage debt is compromised. On average, Africa pays 11.6% on their debt, while Germany, for example, pays 1.5%, the USA 3.1%. And a report that is unequivocal, that inequality is embedded in the international financial architecture and that this must change. Chauvin Riceby's SABC News, New York.